It's 999 show, WJL. That's me. I'm going to change my handle soon. I'm going to put my initials into my handle, or my initials plus my last name, and drop the ASMR Tarot Art right out of it. So I got these answer cards I made. Oh, it's getting close to a year ago. I was like trying to go for like a Magic 8 Ball kind of a funny answer type of a thing. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write some of these answers right down onto here. But we'll have to see. Some of these aren't suitable. I need to find some. I need to cut some more cards, actually, in order to do this properly. So I was thinking one of the answers is like, you stepped into it. You know, like a cow pie or something. If you live out in the country, then you know what stepping into cow pies is like. You get just like getting into some real deep stuff there, all over your shoes. Now, I don't know if I want to keep the ones that are the same, different colors. I don't think I'm going to pull some of these out. Yeah. I think what I'm going to end up doing is painting them all like a yellowy color. That seems to work best than the green. So we're just going to write some things down. I wanted to find some letters, some numbers like 999, but I couldn't find any of that. Let me see. Do I got a Sharpie? A Sharpie would be the best. Hopefully the Sharpie actually still is sharp enough to write. Yeah, it is. Okay. So, you know, I got to discipline myself to not use that word. When I go edit my videos and I get a bunch of so's in there, it really annoys the hell out of me. So there I did. I did that word again. I got to stop using that word. So the first one I'm going to go is your mind is in the wrong spot. And that angel number 777 kind of means that. Hi, Mo. Hi, welcome. Welcome. My stomach kind of hurts tonight. I had too much mac and cheese. It's like my favorite food. I made it like extra heavy fat, extra heavy duty. And so these are my answer cards. I did a video on these on Tools of Fortune, my new channel, Tools of Fortune. Not on these, but just some of the other things, some of my own divinatory. So this one here is a soft no. So you have like a different no, you have a hard no, and you have a soft no. So this is a no that, but maybe it's something else. I don't know. I like the idea of a soft no. And, you know, a soft no and a hard no, you know, like maybe your hard no, and this is like a soft yes. Yes, but maybe it, yes, like that. Yes. There's no, or no. Yes, or yes. You know, like that. It's like maybe. I mean, maybe it's okay for you to go to the movies tonight. Maybe. But you got to wait till your dad gets home, and then you can ask him to see if it's okay. Welcome, 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 Cindy. Hi. And so I guess I had what? Two. Yeah, I have two. That's right. I had two yeses. I had two. I had multiple yeses and multiple no's in that because, you know, you use a magic 8 ball, and there's limited number of answers. And so a maybe is different than a yet, than maybe, yes, no, no, like that. Yeah, hard nose and hard yes, yes. Yeah, you know. I mean, I kind of remember when I was a kid. It was a long time ago. I was a kid a long time ago. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe. You have to get the right inflection on there. Oh, so it's another one. I got. All right, let's just take this maybe, other second maybe, and I'll put it down at the bottom. Okay. The door closed. So that's actually another way of saying no to. The door closed. The door closed. Will my girlfriend come back to me? That door has closed. Find an open door. Go look for another girl. Go look for another boy. Find an open door. An open door. I think that's right. Open door. And that's 1919. Hi. Welcome, Ramon. All right, so I'm going to put that one I've been thinking about. About the cow pie. You're stepping in. Yeah, welcome. You stepped into a cow pie. Step into that cow pie. How about that? That sounds a little bit more proactive. Welcome, Tarot Oracle for the Soul. I was about partway into one of your videos before I decided that I needed to go outdoors and do like one of those. You know, when I was like younger, I go to mass. I go sit in the I go sit in the sanctuary, sit down with my journal, and then I would like say what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And I'd sit there, and then pretty soon I would just start writing, and then like I would write like 10 pages. 10 pages, a cow pie, yeah. I would write about 10 pages of stuff, and then I look over, geez, I didn't know I was feeling all of that. So I was reflecting over the day, because I feel kind of odd. I felt kind of odd today. It feels kind of odd. June 14th, all of that stuff going on in the country. And, with the No King's Day. Though, this is not a political show, but I am talking about stuff that goes on. So, yeah, a cow pie. Maybe it stepped into that cow pie. STEPE, stepped into, does that make sense? Into a cow pie. Okay. I know that I have a number attached to that. I don't know what it is, but don't be. So did you go to did you just go to work, Ramon, or did you go attend one of the June 14th celebrations? I wanted to go actually, but I was working my volunteer job. It is the place that sells my art. And so, and then also, being, thinking it's not very responsible to, as a person caregiving, it's not very responsible to go show up to a major protest when you have people to take care of and people who are counting on you, because it's, if there's no backup, I mean, if you end up like in jail or something like that, then oh, you work today. Yeah. I was, Yeah, I don't know. So I think that whole thing is, it's all makes me feel weird. But I think I feel more weird because of how dry it is. Don't be dumb. It just how you go. Yeah, it was busy there in Philadelphia. Yeah, because you're in Philadelphia. You're like right in the center of it all. You were 151. Take a risk. When I see the number 151, I always think about that. Go take a risk. And then I got another bag because my this diviner bag that I got, it seemed a little bit too small, so I went to go find another one. But then the only one they had was this pink one, and then I'm thinking, oh, I don't like the feminine color of it. But then I was thinking, oh well, it's still, you know what, it's mine. I don't know if I'll. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's got those eyes on it and everything, but it's like it's not really my color. It's like, oh, what? But that was the only one that was available. They didn't have any other colors, and okay, it's all right. I can. I'm comfortable enough in my manhood that I can have a pink, an item that's pink. I mean, look at all this pink I have. I paint with pink. Yeah, I know it was, and I, if a light pink shirt is like light pink shirts are, they're they're they are, and I had a light pink shirt before with a tie. I'll tell you a funny story. Uh, the last time I was at that we had the art fair, the local one, I was, because I paint with a lot of fluorescent pink or fluorescent red, and so there was like this old logger guy who came in. He was with his wife. He was like, dragged into the art fair by his wife, and then he was looking at one of my paintings, and then he says, well, I kind of like it, but it's pink. And I says, it's not pink, it's fluorescent red. It's fluorescent red. Yeah. Yeah. I said, that's a fluorescent red. It's not pink. And I tried to argue with him, arguing with him to tell him that the color was fluorescent red. And he says, no, I can't have something pink like that. And I said, it's not pink, it's red. Because actually I have golden paints that are that exact color, and they're labeled as fluorescent red. And so yeah, I did the go for it, take a risk. Okay, that's right. I was at that one. Go for it, take a risk. Yeah. Well, the thing is I think when you get older too, pink is one of those colors like when you're when your hair starts to turn gray, that's the time that you paint your bathroom pink, because you look better in the mirror when you wear that color. So this is that hard no, the hell no, hell no. So it's like a no with a question mark. No, no. So that's what that means. I like that. Got to put the emphasis down. I'm gonna have to cut some more. So I like this one. This one, bonus 33. Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, people look good for the most part when they wear colors anyway. It's just that, this Western culture is so damn drab. It's so drab. They don't get a lot of like bright colored clothes. My favorite set of clothes, and I don't have them anymore because they wore out, was was a red shirt and a pair of gold corduroy pants and yeah, gold corduroy pants that I wore for a while. I wore them completely out until they had like holes in them. Yeah, color it is fun to have color and so like that when I had that gold sheet behind me, gold color sheet. Well, that was like my girlfriend when I was like 40 or something like that. She was an astrologer and a divorce lawyer, but she said so the step into it stepped into a cow pie. I think I'm gonna put this as that 1010. Step into a cow pie or stepped into a cow pie. Step into it. It's kind of like get into those things. Get into the crap, yeah. Don't count on it. Yeah, it's don't count on it. I think what I'll also do is I'll paint them too. Somebody's gonna get a deck of answers cards. Yeah, and so yeah. What was I talking about? I was thinking there was something I was thinking about directly towards you, Tarot Oracle of the Soil. Hello, hello, Global. Love is in the air. I don't know. I'm starting to in the air. Number 6. Yeah, it's got a few more. Let's go. Let's go see if we can. Oh, you haven't had time. Yeah, that's fine. But you're gonna come on my show. Yeah, Tarot and the Oracle for the Soul. You're gonna come on my show sometime, right? Right. Well, hopefully you do. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Slow down. But Global, you can go watch them, some of them on the playback because, like the one I did yesterday with Truth Wave was really good, and so yeah, you look at your availability. Probably we're going to be looking at it of July anyway, because on the last weekend of this month I have a family reunion, and I booked up guests for next weekend. And so yeah, slow down. And and I'm also producing I'm also producing content for 2 channels, and so that is really I wasn't actually expecting. Well, I don't know what I was expecting was going to happen. What did happen is that my ability to go and watch a whole lot of other people's channels has actually diminished. And so it's like it comes down to, okay, there's the regular content that I like to watch every day, which is, which I should probably just, instead of watching that crap, I should just probably go to a couple news sites and just read the news and not listen to somebody's commentary on the news. I think I need to start doing that. Yeah. Yeah. It's in the house, my grandmother's house. My and in there I have a memory when I was like a kid of, and maybe it's just a phantom memory. I'm not really positive, but of trying to play solitaire with a Tarot de Marseille deck. And my great grandmother was a fortune teller, so she read tea leaves, and I believe that she read tarot because they call it the tea cards, and I think that was what they're, the tarot cards, the tea cards. And so her daughter, who was also kind of psychically inclined, also had her mother's tarot deck after her mother passed away, or somewhere around that time. And so when I was like, this was a little boy, like in the 70s, because she died in 1980, I have a memory of trying to play solitaire, and I didn't know what to do with the cards. So yeah. Well, Tarot, I actually have 4 channels, but I only post on 2. And so did I say this one is 1414 take charge? Yeah. Well, I'm just really hoping, to get down to the point where well, I'm going to go through my past decks, the ones that I have already bought, and not I'm not like the super common ones. I'm not going to go and post this one, or I'm not going to go and post this one because I have like 3 different versions of this one. I'm not going to go and post this one either. No, I just found out. I just started doing tarot. 2 years ago, March, because it was when I had 2 years ago in March. Both my mother and I got the COVID at the same time. My mother was in intensive care, and I was calling the relatives to tell them, and then I was talking to my aunt. It was my dad's sister, and that was her mother's or her grandmother's tarot deck that it was in question. And I don't know where the conversation got, but that's what were said. It says talked about great grandmother and being a fortune teller, and that was all the encouragement I need. And it was like I got permission because I'd been wrestling with it for a couple of years of wanting to learn tarot. Actually, probably not quite a couple of years, but something like that. Probably about that time. So I was wrestling with it. Oh, roses are red, and you're going to bed. All right, yeah. And so yeah, so that's that, and then so I picked up. I had my first deck, which was a keyword deck, but that was a huge mistake. It was a huge mistake to do a keyword deck when you don't know anything, and then I think my real first deck came is when I bought the Radiant, and I bought a pocket size version of the Radiant and a used copy of Exploring the Tarot through the Radiant Rider-Waite, which that was how that happened. And then from there, I did get another tarot deck before that time, which was a Weisspell one. And its guidebook was pretty good, but I kind of feel like that my first tarot deck was actually that Radiant Rider-Waite one, because I really love those bright colors. And so this one is 1, 2, 3. Whenever time I see the number 1, 2, 3, I think beware, move. That move looks like a W. Move ahead with care. Yeah, I have the Weisspell Classic, and I think that between the time that they did the Weisspell Classic and they moved into doing the a lot of their learner decks, they changed printers, and their decks stink. And I have one that I hadn't even opened up here yet. I'll probably do that keyword one, but this one here, And I bought this one in November. I wrote a negative review on it about how it stinks. It's when I opened it, and then they sent me a new one. I really just wanted my money back, actually. But they sent this one. This one, I thought, oh well, maybe it won't stink. But this one stinks, and I'm not even going to open it up because it stinks. Because the smell of the ink in this thing just gives me migraines, and so I'm not. It's like that, and so it's starting to not smell. But I think in another year from now, it's going to not smell anymore. But you know what? I have that other my first keyword deck, which it's I've had it for what 2.25 years, and it still stinks. It still has that smell that has like a formaldehyde like smell. So 3, 2, 1, and so I'm not going to buy any more Y-spell decks because of that. And your head in gear. Yeah, it's what it is, And oh wait, this one goes over here, and this one goes over here. And I think we'll just do what? Here we go. I like this one. 1, 3, 1, 3. And actually, let's just do one of this oddball one, and then I'll have to cut some more. Won't be today, but I like this one. This choose number 3. So choose number 3. Choose a different option. Number 3. So it's like yeah, well, maybe I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. It's starting to get sunny. I got a lot of sunny things to do anyway. I have has anyone ever cleaned a Persian rug? I have some Persian rugs I need to clean. One of them's the size of a room, and so maybe we'll get some paint out and do some painting here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I want to paint this stuff yellow. Where did the cap go to? Yeah. Let's go with the primary yellow. I'm going to put a little thing to dip it into, or not. So leave it out in the sun. Yeah. I'll have to do that. I'm just not really ready to open it up, actually. I need a brush. Oh, I got lots of brushes right here. But just the right size, though. Okay, so for dipping it into here, we'll use this one. Yeah, I like these letters. I wish I had a 999. But that's, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my handle. I'm going to put my name into it, and for this show. Things change slowly. All right. Yellow it is. Well, maybe we'll just move these out of the way a bit. Put that over there. It's a quiet day. I did like my day at doing at the store that sells my art, and it was very quiet. I was able to I did like 2 thumbnails. I got it it was, sometimes I watch like a next level soul episode. I tried to like cruise through the live streams about the No King's Day kinds of things, and I just the mood was just not there. It was like, I don't feel like tuning into this stuff. And yet, maybe I should, just for time. Yeah, maybe I should just. I don't know. What do you think? For time purposes, should I just like stop watching the stuff that I usually watch? Maybe just go back to getting my news solely from the news hour, which I do for the most part. I would try to watch the news hour uh, every every day that it's on. I especially like Brooks and Capehart. That's like my favorite section of commentary. And it's like some of those things that get you too overexcited, and maybe like Truthwave said that you got to keep that, and I know that you got to keep that stuff out of your life, that if it makes you so upset all the time. And that's actually kind of how I got deprogrammed in the first place, from because at one time I was like um I don't even want to say it. It's kind of hard to talk about it, but I usually stay clear away from anything that smacks of like conspiracies, because when you start clicking on that stuff, it's like then you get fed a bunch of right wing stuff and a lot of things that help to trigger the emotions. And so I tend to stay way away from that. But when it comes to like some things, I I'm very, very cautious about the types of media that I take in. And, but oftentimes when you go like cruising down through like the Art Bell show and stuff that was like late night pop talk radio or UFO stuff, it does open the door for that to be for that right wing propaganda. And if you're trying to keep propaganda out of your life, it's just really hard. Yeah, but the news is kind of toxic. But I had read like years and years ago that to insulate yourself from those strong emotions, that one, if possible, you read all the you go to the newspapers, but there's no newspapers anymore, but you read the current events, you read that stuff. And if you can't, and then or you listen to the radio if it's on the radio, but not the propaganda, if it's just a straight up news on the radio. And the last thing is, you don't want to watch it and listen to it. It's not don't get it on TV, because that's that's how it getting it through the eyes and through the ears at the same time is how it evokes too many of those negative emotions, and then it short circuits your ability to think critically. Yeah, that's what. So, but I just tend to go to a few people, and but anyways, that's enough of that. In the news, yes, news can be toxic, but yeah, that's the so the beauty of like the news hour and is of or like certain radio. Let's say it's like NPR or something like that, or in Portland they have like a community radio station, KBOO, and their news readers work overtime to not put a whole lot of emotion into their reading. They read this stuff pretty monotone, and it doesn't necessarily incite your emotion. So they're not giving you propaganda. There's no local news hardly, and of course I do get a local newspaper to my house that's literally local news. There's actually two. One of them's to the tribe that's not too far from here. Actually, all of this land that is around here originally belonged to them. But yeah. Anyways, I get their news, and usually it's just about tribal stuff. What went on in tribal council. What's going on, what's new with their programs, what are they doing, putting a new drug rehab center or something like that, or or the powwow is coming up, or whatever. I don't know. It's not really, it's news that is important for the community, but not necessarily. It's not political propaganda. There is politics, of course, with the tribe and all that, because they have a tribal government, and it's kind of funny because I worked at their casino for a lot of years, and it didn't dawn on me. I didn't really figure out. I didn't figure it out when they talked about legislative changes that happened that they made it so that they could serve alcohol in almost the entire casino. I was thinking that it was the Oregon State legislator that was making these laws, but oh no, that wasn't what it was. It was their own tribal government that was doing that. And so, like, when I first started doing alcohol service, they had like these zones where where they couldn't have drinks, but a lot of those places had slot machines, and you're constantly going around to people sitting at those slot machines, and I said, sorry, you can't drink here. I'll just escort you into this other area, and then you can. He said, but I want to play that machine. But sorry, you can't play that machine and drink that beer here. And but then they I think it's like the whole building is 21 and over, because what they had is they had a buffet, and the buffet, and so areas that were near walkways were areas where potential minors could be going through. But then they got rid of the buffet. Now they brought it back, but it's, they have to, a door that's clear on the other side of the building, like I think where the buffet is. I don't know where the new buffet is, if they put it back in the same spot, because I haven't actually been inside that casino since 2021, and since one of my past supervisors had retired, and that was the last time I went in. I know casino gambling's not in my budget anymore, so that's not it's not something I can even do. So it's like I just would rather not go in to rather not go in if I can't, just go visit with people. I could do that, people I used to work with, but you know how it is. I mean, I go in there, I'd really like to play some slot machines. But anyways. Yeah. Hi, Mama Sushi. Welcome. Hmm. Huh. I don't know. This looks kind of. I'm not so sure I like how this looks. Well, hopefully it'll dry up transparent so that. I think it will dry up transparent. I think I'll have to change out some of these. I've been on for 40 minutes. Anyways, it's not a very exciting painting video. Anything exciting happen in your world, Mama Sushi, today? You know those letters, that almost looks like there's like graffiti there. Oh, you had some bleeding and you're like freaking out. So did you go to the doctor? Because how far along are you? Are you like less than 2 months along pregnant wise, or um yeah. Well, hopefully it's just nothing. Because some spotting does is normal, I think. I mean, I've never had a kid, of course, but people no. They won't let you go to the doctor. Why not? Are you like, well, that seems kind of strange. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, of course, who wouldn't be worried? I mean, I hope you at least contacted your doctor. Another coat of this yellow one here. I think I painted the colored yellow first, and then I put the stencil over the top of it. Oh, that's bad. Well, hmm. Did it stop bleeding? Oh, I'm okay. I I had too many, hurt myself a little bit today by having too much candy and too excuse me, and too much like mac and cheese for dinner because I made it too too rich and and like a bunch of protein bars or whatever, and so all that stuff, it really hurt my stomach, and so I was hoping that popping on like this would keep my mind off of those things, and because you know if you don't really think about it doesn't bother you as bad. Because I've noticed that with like mild migraines and I come on because I had like I had a mild migraine for like 2 days, like Thursday and Friday. Thursday and luckily when I woke up this morning I didn't have it, so that was kind of good. But anyways, I haven't had a stomach ache because I've yeah. Well, the stomach ache's not gone, but the migraine kind of is. You know. And then of course I had to like dump tons of black pepper and cayenne pepper on my mac and cheese, but because I like that. But apparently, with everything else going on, it was a bad idea. Anyways, you'd think that you would learn. You would learn by the time be wise enough. I'm what almost 60 years old. You think I'd be wise enough that I would know that I shouldn't do this stuff, but apparently not. Apparently, I'm not wise enough. Not wise enough at all. Yeah. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll learn. Yeah. Then again, who doesn't like candy? Well, lots of people don't. I mean, I know lots of people who don't like candy. I'm not one of them. I mean, if I'm faced with like an apple or a piece of cake, an apple or a piece of cake, well, which one are you going to choose? Well, it certainly ain't going to be the apple. It's not going to be the apple, that's for certain. Someday. Yeah. Yeah. I was like still kind of blown away by that interview I had with Victor yesterday. It was, and it makes me kind of wonder. Gosh, I wonder if I could get some of those. All right, all right. Well, thank you. Yeah, like I say, it's on. I'm not gonna. I'm pretty much the last weekend of this month. I'm going to that family reunion, and so I'm not gonna schedule anything the day before or the day after because it's like a 3 or 4 hour drive that I'm gonna be taking, going and coming back the same day, and where you spend like 3 or 6 hours of that time in the car, and so I'm gonna be pretty well wiped out. And then there ain't no way that I'll probably do just there's not I'm not gonna do any any live streams with guests that whole weekend. And anyways, um, and maybe if I can, I wish I could get that other microphone working because I have like I have a lavalier mic that's plugged in to my phone now, but I only have one. I don't have a backup, and so when you start moving those mics and moving them and using them in different contexts, then you end up breaking the wires, and the next thing you know, you don't have a mic. And so yeah, and I'm using, and that mic has one of those wind socks things on it. So like it's like take a look at it. It's got one of these windsock things on it, and so these are great for outdoors. And but they're not. But just using your phone mic when you're outdoors, especially if you're down at the beach, because that's where I'm going to be in the family reunion, is down in Seaside, and that's uh I'm gonna want to like go down to the beach and record a video of some kind. That's gonna want to do that. you know, of course, I have video footage loaded in my loaded that I haven't edited from like a year ago, and I should just delete it because it's like, am I gonna really do something with it? Am I? I don't know. I mean, I started the process of editing it. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this stuff. Some of the stuff I don't really know what to do with. It's like you go and stare at it for a while and maybe something comes up. But there's like this whole space issue. The space issue, a data space issue. And so you can't keep everything. I have what? I have I have like 3 terabytes of data that's just filled with nothing but video footage. Am I gonna be like using that video footage? Some of it, a lot of the photographs, yeah, the photographs, but how much of that video footage am I actually gonna use? That's how that is. But I with data and stuff like that, I'm such a pack rat with anything that's like creative. I'm a creative pack rat. Stuff, but yeah, so here I use that word "so" again. I've been trying. I need to try and not say that word. I mean, it's fine in like a video that I'm never going to watch again, but I noticed that, like I think I mentioned it when I'm editing the videos, and how many times do I just like clip that word out? Just clip it out. And how much longer it takes you to edit a video if you're clipping out every word that annoys you, the sounds or that kind of stuff. But when you do all that heavy editing, it does you can quicken the pace up of what you're doing. And yeah, exactly, to say these words and it's I mean, if I'm annoyed by the words, wouldn't a potential viewer be annoyed by the words too? I mean, if they're in your long play videos, and you want them to have a rewatchability, and if they're chock full of annoying sounds and words, I mean, how could they have rewatchability, And it's just hard. Video editing on a phone is extremely hard, I can tell you that. Everybody who does it, they knows how hard it is. I need to bring my computers. I have in my garage, but the reason I still leave that computer set up in that office space is because it has a big speaker system, and I can't bring that speaker system in the house and expect to be able to play any loud music, because mom certainly doesn't want any loud music being played. The dog doesn't want loud music. And sometimes I just like to play loud music. So there I did. I said that word again. So it's out. So it's out there. I don't know how to say that without that. So it's thus it's there. And but during the winter time it's like it's too cold in there to use that computer setup. Even with a heater on, it's too cold. So but video editing can be, with the right setup, can be quite relaxing. Yeah, I use like a lot. Yeah, it's not that like when I first started this channel and I was using a different camera and that camera broke and well, I don't know, it won't record data anymore, so that means I guess it broke. And then I was using a digital recorder, and I record my voice and I put a bunch of like pictures in and do a voiceover kind of a thing. So that was the first 6 months of videos that I did on this channel. Very first year, did that, and then that camera broke. Then it was like, yeah. Then I got the COVID. I lost my voice too. I couldn't talk for more than like 30 seconds without the voice cracking up, and so I use that word again. I switched to doing short form content. Yeah. Luckily, I regained my voice, and I can talk on and on and on, prattle on and on and on forever, and I don't really lose my voice that much. So, I said that word again. For 57 minutes, I've talked about nothing. But it's good to see Ramon pop in, and Mama Sushi, and Global, and Tarot and Oracle for the Soul, and all the rest. I got Alexis Milner on tomorrow in the after church chat at about 12:30. He had been on vacation. So Ramon had been on vacation. Yeah. I need to go on a vacation. I haven't taken a vacation in a long time. The only vacation I got was like once a month when I go into that little store, the store that sells my art, and I go spend the day there and do stuff like, since it's a volunteer job, I don't feel like I need to go sweep the floor or clean the toilets or do anything like that. If it was a regular pay job, then I would have to do all those things. But I just sit there and mind the store, open it up and close it one day a month, and it's really relaxing to get away, and so it's just a break from my regular routine. And it's nice. We all need to have that break. Anyways, that's all I got. Alexis Milner will be on tomorrow. We'll be talking about caregiving. I think that's what she wants to talk about. 12:30, probably 12:30 to 1:30. Then I'll probably pop on a couple times during the week. If I can get my thing together, then I'll do an outdoor painting. I'll probably try to do that. I know I got a doctor appointment. I got to drive mom to one of the days this week, and I really want to go take a trip and go down to Lincoln City as well. I don't know if that's going to happen. I need to go to yeah. So probably, I kind of like those little live streams where I'm just standing or sitting right next to the house outside, and I'm in the Wi-Fi field. The Wi-Fi field in the house is much stronger than the Wi-Fi field in the garage. That one is less stable. It would be nice if I could run this camera out by the barn. It's a different site that way. But to do that, I'm going to have to do it on an Ethernet line. I don't have an Ethernet connection. Yeah, it is out here. And so yeah, I'll be doing more of those, like right in the backyard. If I just sit up right next to the house, and I have the camera within like 3 feet of the house, then the Wi-Fi works, and then I get a little peace and a little bit of quiet, and I can kind of speak my mind a bit more. Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I'll be back a couple days. Like I say, tomorrow, 12:30. Next Friday, Hershey the Shadow Reader at 4. And then on next Saturday at 2 p.m., I'm having a paint-off with Day by Day OK Christine channel. And she has provided a photograph. I need to get that photograph printed off as a reference photo. I think I have enough ink left in my printer that I can do that. And that's kind of cool. That would be a paint off. I haven't done a paint off for a while. Would be nice if I could do like one of those a month, one paint off a month, or have an artist on that knows something about art that's more than I do know and has knowledge, and then that maybe I can learn something more, just go and interview. But I think that'll just throw the algorithm off if I bring an artist on like that, because I do know somebody that I could ask to come on, but I know a lot of people actually. But like, it's that whole you get trapped in that algorithmic cycle, and when you deviate too much from the algorithm, like it's like doing the whole going in and doing a horizontal live stream when all you've done is the vertical live streams. I'm, algorithmically, the algorithm doesn't push those lives out, so that's why I'm not doing them. I could turn this camera around and we get that different viewpoint, but when it's coming back and I'm pushing it back to the other way, and I'm against my background, but see, my background doesn't go all the way. It's set up for the vertical live stream. I'm not set up to do horizontal live streams at all. And I would need a different backdrop, and I certainly don't want people looking in the corner there and seeing a bunch of clothes hanging on the door, all that kind of stuff. So I just not set. I'm not set up for that kind of a thing. Maybe someday, but it's not going to be today. All right. It's been fun. And we'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. And thank you very much, everyone, for your support. Bye.